With respect to count number 1.
All right, friends. Leticia Stout.
Degree after deliberation.
Verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. With respect to count number 2, charge of murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in a position of trust. We, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust.
Guilty of count number 2.
With respect to count number 3, charge of tampering with a deceased human body. We, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body. With respect to count number 4, a charge of tampering with physical evidence. We, the jury, find the defendant Leticia Stout guilty of count number 4, tampering with physical evidence. I wanted to ask the jury, or actually the foreperson, there's some extra writing on here with respect to question number 1. There's a cross through and some initials. And then on part B, there's also a cross through with initials. Was that signifying that you were not answering that and you intended to answer guilty as to that charge? Okay. And is that what you intended with all of the other verdict forms? Yes, sir. All right. With that, does either side wish to have the jury poll prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What this means is that this is a process that is sometimes requested by the attorneys following a verdict to make sure that everybody has agreed on all parts of it. So I'll go down the row, starting in the back. Juror number 1, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 2, is this and are these your verdicts?
They're just going to pull the jury now.
Juror number 3, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 4, is this and are these your verdicts?
Leticia Stout found guilty of all charges. Gannon Stout,
number 6,
justice is served for Gannon. So they're just pulling the jury right now. They're just going to give their verdicts. And again, this is a great day. Justice for this young little boy who was brutally murdered by Leticia Stout. It took the jury some time to deliberate, but they're back in live right now, 3:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Leticia Stout found guilty of all charges.
For your service. Jurors don't get a lot of training. However, you all were selected because you were willing to be open-minded and impartial, and were willing to make decisions based on the facts and the law. You, the jury, heard and saw the evidence. You paid attention all day, every day. Someone else may tell you they disagree with or they disagree with your verdict or some aspect of your service. They may want to express their opinion on the matter. However, we didn't ask them for any of their opinions. We asked you for your judgment. We asked you for your verdict based on the law and based on the evidence. Someone else may tell you they think they're better and smarter and more intuitive than all of you were. Ignore them.
Guilty on all counts. Yes.
As a judge, rarely does a day go by that I don't make somebody in the courtroom mad. The fact that some people may disagree with your verdict or the law only means that those who disagree with you were not carefully selected to be fair and impartial. They did not take an oath to follow the law and to judge all of the facts, and they see it differently from you because they didn't see it all from the perspective you did. And they did not discuss the facts with 11 others who were also fair and impartial and sworn to follow the law. You decided this case. This verdict is your verdict. And this is the verdict in the case. No poll, no approval or disapproval, and no press analysis changes that fact. This is the verdict in the case. The press or someone else at some point may wish to talk to you. We live in a world of exceptional voyeurism in reality TV, and this is about as real as it gets. They may try to dissect the evidence, your thought process, and your decision. It's a free country. Anyone can ask you anything about your verdict. You can answer if you choose. They can also, however, respect your privacy and allow you to contact them only if you want to talk to them. And if you don't want to, you don't have to talk to anyone about your verdict. If you do talk with someone, you can tell them as little or as much as you like. Someone may even ask you to give an affidavit regarding some aspect of your jury service.
I just want to tell you, Leticia is just staring blankly ahead. I don't see any emotion, anything from her. She's just staring blankly ahead. Again, guilty on all charges. Leticia Stout now being heard. Look, you guys I could show you quickly. That's her in the courtroom.
Again, I want to thank you very much for your service. Without honest people of our community serving on jurors, we cannot secure the right to a jury trial in this country. And it's a very valuable and a very important right. I want to leave you with some language from a case that was decided by the United States Supreme Court in Louisiana versus Duncan. In that case, an individual was denied the right to a jury by trial, or a trial by jury, sorry. And that case went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court sent it back to the state of Louisiana. And it said, you need to give this man what the Constitution requires, which is a trial by jury. And when it sent the case back to Louisiana, it said, we believe the trial by jury is fundamental to the American scheme of justice.
All right.
Trial by jury is
so
more than an instrument.
again, I was. You see, the title of my video is about the boys. The prosecution rested in the trial of Trezell and Jacqueline West, but this breaking news was happening as I was getting ready to go live. So I had to bring this to you. A verdict has been reached. Guilty of all charges. Leticia Stout now will spend the rest of her life, and she is going to be sentenced here. This is all, the verdict is now in, and she's also going to be sentenced here today. So let's take a listen. So this is going to be the sentencing now.
Thank you. You may all be seated. You want to proceed on sentencing? I do need to talk to the jury for a few minutes because I need to tell them some things about security issues, counseling issues, and things like that. So I do need to talk with them for a few minutes. I also didn't know if the family, the prosecution, anybody wanted to have some time to process the verdicts. I also understand that everybody's been here for 5 weeks, so I get that part too. So I'm open to whatever you want to do with respect to sentencing, but I probably am going to need at least half an hour with the jury.
Okay. All right, so
that would be appropriate, Judge. The people are obviously ready to go to immediate sentencing, I believe.
immediate sentencing. So no death penalty in this case. In Colorado, she is going to be life in prison. She should rot for the rest of her time. You know, just like many that I've spoken on, like Chris Watts and some of these really evil monsters who get sentenced to life in prison. I hope and pray that there's not one good day for her, because she took the life of Gannon. He was a young kid, and it was just horrific crime that she committed. I hope she doesn't have one good day, and I really mean that. I don't wish death onto anybody, but at the end of it all, she is not going to be a well-regarded inmate in prison. she's not going to be well liked, and I'm hoping that she does have a rough go at it, because she deserves everything that she gets inside behind bars. So court is going to be down here for about 30 minutes. Leticia is just, I'm watching her. She's just fumbling with some papers. Her hands are free. Her attorney's sitting next to her. Most of the people in the courtroom are standing up in the audience. The judge, again, I'm assuming that she's not going to go anywhere, because they are going to do sentencing today. So sentencing will happen all within this courtroom. I don't have much time to stick with you guys, but while the court's in recess for, the judge said, around 30 minutes, I just wanted to say thank you to Ed Wallace for being here in the chat. I had a little bit of a conference call with, well, not a conference call, but a little texting back and forth. Ed's still outside the country. I shared the live video audio feed with Ed for the trial of Trezell and Jacqueline West. The court is now down. The courtroom feed is now off in the Leticia Stout. Guilty verdict's been read. She's found guilty of all the charges. The court now feed is down. But so Ed and I were listening. The prosecution rested today in the trial of Trezell and Jacqueline West. They are standing accused of murdering Orrin and Orson West, Sincere and Classic. So that was the reason why I was going live here, but this broke while I was getting ready to go live. So they got the countdown clock on. It's 29 minutes and counting for the return in the courtroom. But the prosecution rested, and now the defense in the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial are bringing on their experts, and they have two experts. There's going to be two experts that are going to come on, a doctor in psychology and a accident reconstruction professional. His name is Armstrong. And, Ed brought up a great point to me on text message. He said, how is this guy qualified to be an expert witness for the defense if his expertise isn't in video enhancing? He's going to be speaking on video enhancement in the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial, and this guy has his expertise is in accident reconstruction, and this is like out of his lane. So Ed immediately asked me, he's like, why didn't the judge or the prosecution have an objection to this? And I just scratched my head and said, I don't know. And I sent this guy's resume to Ed Wallace, and Ed was like, right away, he said, this guy's not qualified. But they're letting it go forward. We're hoping and praying that we get a guilty on all counts in the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial. But I got to be honest with you guys. The state, the prosecutors haven't proven to me, at least to me, and I'm being honest with you guys, I haven't seen a slam dunk where they've proven Trezell and Jacqueline West's guilt in the murders of these two boys. All the defense has to do is create reasonable doubt, and I think that they have reasonable doubt here. And I'm not saying that to be a scumbag or to be a bad person. I'm just saying it because that's the truth of what I feel, is that I haven't seen, although I have seen some good testimony and some good witnesses, I don't feel confident. And I hate to say this because, again, I know Roe and, all of the folks from Bakersfield, they watch my videos all the time, but I hope I am wrong, and I hope and pray that I'm wrong, but I have a bad feeling that they haven't proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Trezell and Jacqueline West murdered Sincere and Classic. But again, for me, I hope and pray that I'm wrong. Susan King, thank you for the $20 super chat. Susan King says, guilty, guilty, guilty. Rest, sweet Gannon. Yeah, amen to that. Gannon Stout, I have a playlist. I'll link it. I'll link it in some of the cards above here. I covered this case quite often. It was just too hard for me to cover all these trials. You have Lori Shallow Vallow on trial. You got this Gannon Stout, Leticia Stout. We have our boys. I had to make a choice of who I was going to cover full tilt. And for me, it was a no-brainer. Our boys, Sincere and Classic, even though it wasn't heavily covered by the media and by YouTube people, I felt that it was important in my heart to cover our boys. So I've gone full tilt with the boys, and I'm going to do another updated video when we get our verdict, when we get hopefully our guilty verdict. Teresa Warner, thank you for the $10 super chat. Prayers to Gannon and his family. Yeah, amen to that. Mr. and Mrs. Williams, sending prayers for our boys. Thank you for that. Julie, thank you for becoming a new member. I think you were a member before, but thank you for subscribing to the memberships. Yeah, justice for our boys, Ruth. Justice all summer long. I want to talk to you guys about courtroom testimony and preparing for court. It was an important part of what I felt when I was going through the police academy and when I was a police officer and detective. I felt it was so important to be able to well document every investigation that I did. And this is just me talking personally. I took pride in my notes, in my notebooks, my memo books, and all of my police paperwork. I made sure I dotted my I's and crossed my T's. And when I wasn't sure of something, especially if I knew it was going to be a big case, I made sure that I had all of my ducks in order. What I'm going to say here is, again, not popular opinion amongst the police community. My retired fellow men and women, may not like to hear this, but in this case of Trezell and Jacqueline West and our boys, it really is discouraging because I am hearing such shoddy police procedures and paperwork. When I hear lead detectives stumbling on their words, and I hear lead detectives and investigators not being sure and not being 100% positive in what they're saying, it tells me that they didn't put the care that was needed to be put into this case and prepare. If you are testifying about something that you did 2 years ago, you need to be able to brush yourself up on your paperwork and your documents. It's not like these documents are gone and they've gone away. You need to study what you wrote, what you did, and you need to make sure that your memory is clear and concise. So when you get on that stand and testify, you know what the hell you're saying. So again, I was discouraged today with some of the testimony that I heard, and I've been listening all the time. Anytime that I can get a chance to listen, I listen. If I miss parts of what I, couldn't hear because I'm at work, I'll call Jess, the mystery maven, or I'll ask my good friend Melanie Little, attorney Melanie Little. She's been listening. But I know Jess, she's taken time off from her practice, her law practice. And Jess, the mystery maven's been listening all day. Scott, thank you for being here. Hello, Soldier Girl. Thank you, Soldier Girl. Dawn Marie, Debbie Keeler. So courtroom testimony and trial prep are very important because this is what the jury hear. The jury, Heidi Cakes, good to see you. The jury listens to the authorities that are taxed with investigating heinous crimes like this. So the jury are sitting there listening to every word that every witness puts up on the stand. And if you're not sure of what you're saying, and thank you to everyone who's given these super chats and so forth, but if you're not sure of what you're saying and you are the popo, the police, the FBI, California City, the Bakersfield Police Department, and all of the experts that were involved in this investigation, and there was a lot of great testimony. Let me just say this. There was a lot of great testimony from law enforcement professionals, but there were some that was just not good. And that is all they need the defense, all they need is reasonable doubt. All they have to do is create reasonable doubt. And unfortunately, I think that they have shown reasonable doubt in this case. I hope to God that I'm wrong about that. But I have to tell you, my heart is not like, I'm not like, yeah, we got him. Yes. Because if I was to say that, I would be just fooling myself and I'd be lying to you guys. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what you think down below. It's not a popular opinion. It's not popular to even say it on a YouTube video or on a live video. But if I didn't say it, I'd be lying to you guys. So again, Peggy, yes, thank God that the Gannon Stout trial, although it wasn't a ground ball, it wasn't easy, but she did say she's guilty by reason of insanity, right? But she was hoping, Leticia was hoping that the jury would find her not guilty by reason of insanity, and that didn't happen. She got charged and is charged, and was found guilty of all charges. So that was a win for Gannon. That is a win for Gannon's father, his biological mom, the mom and dad, and the whole rest of the family and everybody that was involved. That's a win. And I'm so happy about that. Shredder, thank you for being here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay today. So I want you guys to let me know, seriously, what you think about the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial. What's your thoughts in your mind? If you feel that it's a slam dunk and we're going to get the guilty verdicts across the board, put a 1 in the chat. If you are unsure and you think that the prosecutor, hasn't proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Trezell and Jacqueline West murdered Sincere and Classic, put a 2. But also, here's the third option. If you feel Trezell and Jacqueline West did in fact murder Sincere and Classic, put a 3 in the chat, but it can't be proved because they haven't told us exactly how they were killed or what they did. We heard about the thud at the dumpster, the garbage dumpster. We heard about the loud bang, the large thud in the bathroom from the children's testimony. We also heard from one of the boys that Trezell's oldest son, biological son, that one of the boys was throwing up and that he died in front of him. And he asked Jacqueline and Trezell, the young boy asked them, did he die? And he said, yes. They told me, yes, he died. Not to talk about it. Was that testimony from that boy, Trezell and Jacqueline West's biological son, is that going to be enough to seal the deal, to get the guilty verdicts? Is that going to be enough? I hope and pray it is, because that's all. That testimony and the testimony from the neighbor who saw Trezell and Jacqueline West with that blue and white ice chest, as she said, is some of the compelling stuff that we heard in this trial. So let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm going to re-review the chat. I'm going to look at the chat and pool it. I pray that they have enough. I pray that they do have enough. But I'm not feeling it on this one as it stands right now. And we're going to listen to this expert testimony from the defense. We're going to hear from these 2 experts that they have. And then the prosecution is going to have their chance as well. And then the closing arguments. So hopefully the prosecution has the strong close, and then the defense, this expert that they're bringing on that's talking now, Armstrong, Ed Wallace, and I agree with that, doesn't feel that he is a qualified expert. But they seem very sure and cocky that they have 2 great experts that are going to come on and speak. Yeah, listen, Bell, I'm not looking to make anybody scared. I'm just telling you how I feel. You know, this is the vibe that I'm getting from this as this is closing up. I was hoping that I was going to hear more, you know, and I'm not, listen, I'm not here to spoon feed anybody a bag of shells, a bag of goods that is not in truth in my heart. I don't try to give false narratives out. I don't try to, you know, tell you guys something just to make you, you know, just to make you feel, to coddle you. I'm telling you that I don't got a good feeling about it. You know, I really don't. I hope I'm wrong. I keep saying it because I'm invested in this. I mean, I want justice for these boys. We don't even know where they are, right? Casey Anthony walked, so I feel you, DutyRon, and so did like many others. We could name some of these higher profile. Look, the John Benet Ramsey, there was nobody ever charged. O.J. Simpson, in my eyes, and I think in most of the common sense world, got away with murder, double murder. You know, there's no talk. There's no talk about where is the murderer of Nicole Brown Smith and Ronald Goldman. No, there's no talk about that. It's over. Teresa Warner says, Ron, you know better than any of us. Thank you for your honesty. I mean, I know what it takes to get to, you know, all right. Sometimes you can have the best case and you still don't get that guilty verdict. And sometimes you can have a shaky case. We never know what the jury is thinking, right? But I'm going on my common sense and the knowledge of the law, and I don't feel like the prosecution has spelled out beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proof is with the state, with the prosecutor's office. The job of a defense attorney is just to give a slither of doubt, reasonable doubt. And I think that they did create reasonable doubt, the jury. But I hope and pray there's more, and there's more of a strong closing argument. So, friends, don't hate the messenger. Don't crucify me for this. I hope I'm wrong. But Leticia Stout, guilty on all 4 counts. Now let's pray for the boys, that they are found, and more importantly, that there's justice for them. We need them found, but we need justice as well. Without the other is no good. My idea is to get justice for them and then find them. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I got to go back to work. Leticia Stout found guilty of all charges. Justice served today in Colorado. 13 minutes and 20 seconds and counting with the sentencing. I am sure she's going to be in life in prison, obviously without the chance of parole. May Leticia Stout rot in her cell, in her cage, for the rest of her pathetic life. I hope that she doesn't have one good day, and you know, she spends the rest of her time behind bars in a cage where she belongs. And that's the best I could say on that. And I want the rest of Trezell and Jacqueline West's life to result in that fashion as well. Because what they did, in my eyes, is they did dirty. And you know what? I want to say something. I wanted to also say something. You know, as far as Trezell's mom, Grandma West, right? There was something that really stood out to me in her testimony. And guys, you could correct me if I'm wrong, or let me know what you think in the comments or here in the chat. But you know, when Grandma West, Wanda West, testified that she got in the van with Trezell December 19th, after not seeing those boys from all the way in February of 2020. When she got in that van with Trezell, I believe it was December 19th, after not seeing Sincere and Classic, Orrin and, well, he renamed them Orrin and Orson West. As a grandmother that claims to love these boys, she got in a van. Am I to believe that she got in his white van and went to the credit union to take money out for him for gas and never turned around in a van to see the two grandchildren, 3 and 4 years old, that she hasn't seen in her words since February or for a long, long time? You're not going to get in the van and open that back door and go, "Oh, Orrin and Orson, it's Grandma Wanda. Hi, give me kisses." She just said the music was loud and I didn't hear him. That's bullshit. Let me know what you think about that. Because so many people, I think, just overlook that. Like my boys, their grandma, I had my mom who's now deceased, but they had my father's second wife, their step grandma. When my boys were little, and not even my mom, my stepmom, when she didn't see my boys for a period of time, she was like, let me give you love. She was all over them. But listen, let me know what you think of that, because I was like, this is bullshit. You're going to get up on a Skype call, on a Zoom call, and tell the court from Washington, D.C. that you hadn't seen the boys since February or whatever, since COVID, March 2020. And then all of a sudden in December on the 19th or whenever that was, you're in the van. I might have these dates all screwed up, but you're in the van with Trezell. It might have been in September, but this doesn't matter. My point is that you go a long period of time without seeing a 3 and a 4-year-old adoptive boys, beautiful little boys that you claim to love. And you're going to get in that van and not go in the back in fear of the COVID monster. The COVID monster made you not even turn around and say, "Oh, let me look at you. Let me see you boys." Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't buy it. Let me know what you think down below. All right, guys and girls, love and respect from my house to yours. As I always like to end these, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. But especially Gannon, Stout, and our boys, Sincere and Classic. They need us now more than ever, and Gannon has gotten his justice. Doesn't bring him home, doesn't bring him back, but it puts the person who's responsible for his death behind bars for the rest of her natural born life. And we need that for Trezell and Jacqueline West. Love and respect, guys. It's good seeing you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Stand by for the cop team.